a lot of us may think that America needs to have a little ice cream and chill.
Yes.
Because we've been angry
We
lately.
do.
Have you
This is
noticed?
true.
And that's where
Yes.
we're going to begin this hour. It's a question facing our country. Do we have an anger problem?
Yes,
You have
we
no doubt seen these videos. Gayle says yes.
Yes.
People venting frustration or, in some cases, full-blown rage just about everywhere you look, much of it COVID-related, but not all of it. Nearly 3/4 of Americans are at least somewhat angry, according to one recent poll. Another poll shows that 84% of us believe that we are angrier today than we were a generation ago. But think about this. Considering the state of the country, is that too much anger or not enough? And who are you calling angry anyway? That, too, turns out to be a matter of argument.
Let's just start at the beginning.
On a recent day in New York, we met up with a man you may not realize you've seen before.
You're a bunch of cowards hiding behind our children.
Brandon Michon is the man in the gray hoodie in this viral video from a school board meeting back in January.
The garbage workers who pick up my freaking trash risk their lives every day more than anyone in this school system.
He had moved his family from New York to Northern Virginia last year and grew frustrated by delays in plans to reopen the schools.
Figure it out or get off the podium.
His entire speech was only about a minute long, but intense.
It's not a high bar. Raise the freaking bar.
And it didn't stop after Michon walked off camera.
Open the freaking school.
Can I ask the deputy to please make sure the gentleman leaves the boardroom?
Have you watched yourself back? Have you seen the video lately?
I've heard it a lot.
You've heard it? Can we show you the video? Do you mind?
As we watched him watching himself, though,
Figure it out. Get off the podium.
it became clear he's in fact proud of his performance.
I thought it was a heartfelt speech of, frustration, passion.
Do you have any regrets?
Nope. No. What I said, the words I said, there was nothing wrong with what I said.
At a time when more of us seem to be saying and doing things out of anger, researchers are also learning more than ever about where that emotion comes from.
What exactly is this guy's problem?
We got a crash course in anger at Ohio State University's Driving Simulation Laboratory, where Professor Brad Bushman is researching what leads to road rage.
Why are you investigating this?
I'd like the world to be a more peaceful place, and I think science is the best answer to what risk factors predispose people to behave aggressively.
He's found having a gun in the car can somehow prime people for hostility.
This is called a weapons effect. There's a very strong connection in our brains between guns and aggression, and so just the mere presence of a gun can make people more aggressive.
But Bushman says there may be an even more basic risk factor.
Empathy levels are going down, narcissism levels are going up, and that's a big problem for society.
Anger has a lot of stigma towards it.
New York University psychologist Dr. Ariane Ling says anger is natural, and her professional response to the people who've been photographed or recorded in those moments is not outrage, but sympathy.
That person in that video is really suffering in some ways. So I see that the anger is an outward expression of I'm so fed up, or I'm so scared, or I'm so whatever the other emotion is. I can imagine that if they could or wanted to respond in a healthier way, that they would.
Hey, how are you?
Of course, Americans have always had a long list of not always important things that make them angry.
I don't like it when people stand up on the airplane. Probably traffic in the city.
Not getting a text back in a timely fashion.
This drives me nuts. I can't, the sirens.
But Dr. Ling maintains as long as it doesn't tip us into violence, our capacity for anger is actually positive.
There's good reason why, evolutionarily speaking, we can still experience anger. Anger has been motivating and powerful and has also kept us alive. It motivated you to maybe respond aggressively, to fight, to do something about the threat that you're experiencing.
So anger, appropriately channeled, can be a force for good.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's exactly how Brandon Michon feels about what he calls his moment of passion.
There's a time and a place for certain passions. I think this one, albeit some people may have a differing opinion, was justified, and the impact, I think, started a conversation around the world.
You acknowledge frustration. Why not just call it anger?
Because there's two different things. Anger is, anger can be violent. passion can be justified.
So
Boy, I see this different. Brandon Michon, I actually understand where he's coming from. Now, when you just play that tape where he appears on a big rant, then you think, ooh, but when you hear the backstory and you see his explanation, I actually get that.
yeah, and you understand his kids talked just before him, and he just sort of lost it watching them, and in his view, being ignored. And their education suffering. But this changed my view of anger, because I thought anger was kind of the dumbest emotion, something to suppress, something to avoid. And for a long time, psychologists thought that way too. But it's kind of been redeemed in my eyes, and also in the field. People now see it as natural and productive. One psychologist who we didn't speak to, but who had something interesting to say on it, said anger alerts you to injustice and prepares your body to fight that injustice.
Yeah. No, but the anger we see on planes, though, I'm not okay with that. I think there are different kinds of, I'm now learning, there are different kinds of anger. So when you see those people just going nuts on the plane, I don't care what has happened. That's just inexcusable to me, and that's just not okay.
Tony, you made a good point when talking about channeling that anger, tapping into it properly. You look at some of your favorite artists or even your favorite athletes. There's a place of rage that they go to before they take the court or the field or even the boxing ring. I just feel like in moments where you know confrontation is inevitable, you have to figure out a way to communicate it the best way.
Yeah.
Because having a public meltdown, it might be a good way to get your point across because you're going to get attention, but who's on the other side of that receiving it? Because oftentimes when you're getting screamed at by somebody, you close up or you fight back.
You can't even hear it. When you're getting screamed like that, you can't even hear it. I mean, and sometimes angry people, aren't some people just jerks? The guy throwing the machete or the guy. That's just not okay.
Yeah, I mean,
This is very interesting.
Yeah, you can make progress. Progress can be driven from a place of anger. Think of John Lewis, good trouble, get into good trouble.
Yes.
But at the same time, you can be very wrong about something. And if you're that kind of angry about something you're very wrong about, then you're a jerk.
I do like your pieces, though. As Nate said, you just roll up on people and start talking. Because you never know how people are going to react. That was really, really good.
People are always game.
Well done, Tony. Thank you.
Very well done.